most of the time that we've got together this afternoon. Venetia, there's space down here if you want to come closer. You're good? Okay. So, everyone got their space. Has everyone got something to sit on? Comfortable? Welcome, welcome. It's really strange for me to have this microphone in front of my face. I just have to voice that. It's really weird, but I think if I take it away, you're probably not going to hear me. Can you hear me? Yeah. I've got quite a soft voice, so I'd rather stay with that. And yeah, I just want to welcome you here to Holy Human and to this time together to really nourish and be together in the space of truth and love and embodying that, or at least learning the way in which we can do that, although it's not really a doing, it's more of a being. My name is Emma Abhijita. Some people know me as Abhijita, but I've returned to my original name. And perhaps I'll just introduce myself first. So I began my path really as a yogi, I think from a very young age. At 4 I was sitting like this, and there was no real reason for that. So it seems maybe I've incarnated and had previous lives as a yogi. But by the time I was about 15, I was very much interested in everything spiritual, knowing that there was definitely something more than what I was seeing around me. And so I started teaching myself yoga. I dived into Ayurveda, and I think around 19 I discovered transcendental meditation and started meditating, and then I came to Europe. I was traveling. I was born in Australia, and very quickly after that, once I had found, it took me a little while to find what it was that I wanted to teach, but I knew I wanted to be a yoga teacher. I just hadn't quite found the yoga that I wanted to teach, and then I discovered Satyananda Yoga when I was about 25, and because it incorporated all aspects of yoga, not just the physical, it really drew me. It was much more about living the process of yoga, seeing yoga as a life process and not just a practice. It incorporated, yeah, as I say, all aspects of yoga, the philosophy, and living a yogic lifestyle. And that set me on a very clear path. I thought that was it. You know, I was living in the ashram a lot. I became a sannyasa and went through various initiations, and very, very clear. I thought, you know, there's really nothing else. And then in 2009, I was there in the ashram for various festivals and programs in northern India, the Bihar School of Yoga with Swami Satyananda, my yoga guru. And he realized it was the time to leave his body. So whilst I was there, he, by choice, left his body, took Mahasamadhi, and offered us this incredible gift, those of us who were there in form to receive the grace of his passing. And he had very specific instructions that he gave to his senior Swami, and he called her over and said, okay, I've been waiting for my return ticket and it's here. and this is what needs to happen for the next 16 days. It said that it takes 16 days for the soul to pass over. Of course, he was hanging around for our benefit. He was ready to go, and but for our benefit, he gave us very clear instructions that we needed to chant his name consistently all day, every day for the next 16 days, and we were given the space where he was living, which was basically a temple that we were ordinarily not allowed to be in, except for the senior swamis. And yes, once he passed on this information, he said, "Okay, it's time now," and he started chanting Om, and left his body. And then we all had his darshan. Darshan means the vision of, and it was, extraordinary. How do you direct your body when you're no longer in the body? But he was giving blessing. He was raising, his consciousness was raising his arms, even though he'd left, and he was blessing everybody as they passed. So I didn't quite realise how much of an awakening that was in the midst of it. But my seva, my service, my karma yoga was to be in that space where everybody was to gather all day, every day for 16 days. So the gift of the blessing of that for me was like, I was like, really, me? Surely not. Like, it's got to be one of the swamis. And I was given that job, along with a few others, to tend to the flowers, to tend to the beauty and the lights and the music as everybody came in and perambulated around the place where he was buried twice a day, and also be in there all day, every day as we chanted. And it was beyond words, really, but if I was to give it some words, it was a direct experience of divine love that I had been longing for all my life. And in that, he was everywhere. His presence was in the sky, it was in the clouds, it was in the birds and the trees and the wind. His eyes were moving in photos, and I was just dissolving in tears for pretty well the whole time, and just in bliss and joy in everything. I think everything was contained within those tears, and so that I guess I'm speaking of that because it was a profound turning point in my life. And how old was I? 2009, I was like 34. And so after that, everything began to fall away. The yoga teacher, the identification with that, everything except for the mother. I became a mother the next year. I got pregnant and became a mother. So my whole identity as a sannyasin, the one who was living a spiritual life, wearing malas, wearing bindis, shaving my head every full moon, the whole process, every practice, everything just fell away. I had no desire to, shave my head anymore, and it was as though in that receiving that grace, I had found, I had become yoga in its true meaning, the union with all and everything, and therefore I was no longer seeking something outside of myself. And I guess I always knew that I was the one, that the guru was only the light to bring you back to yourself. But it can be very conceptual until you experience yourself in the vastness of what you are. But of course life continues and you go on your way, and that dissolution of all the identification happens over a long period of time. And but it set me on a very different path, a much more feminine path, if you like. Becoming a mother was an enormous teaching. I let everything go. The yoga center, the practice, I didn't care about any of it. And I had this incredible being, Jove, Dharma Jyoti, my beautiful boy, in front of me, and I was like, this is it. So he became my meditation. He became the anchor for the next probably 10 years or so, as everything just fell apart, if you like. It just, all those ways in which I was operating needed to dissolve, and there was a very strong doership here, so that one definitely needed to dissolve, and so that I could become more and more of what I am. instead of this identification with this somebody that I thought I was. So that process is quite destabilizing. I didn't know where I was going, what I was doing, and thank goodness for my boy who was the anchor. Because sometimes I just thought I was going to sit in meditation and life would stop and there was nothing else was going to happen. The mind was coming up with like, is this it, really? Like, I'm just going to sit here and meditate on the couch all day. I mean, really, I was sitting for so long that I was creating a dent in the couch and thinking, okay, is this it? And so gradually what happened is I had to dissolve into the nothingness so that life could naturally arise. And I do remember that moment where life rose so fully. Shakti just said, okay, it's time. And I just wanted to run out into the garden and paint with natural materials. And I came with this kind of wildness of energy, just the inspiration of life coming again. And so I knew it was time for movement. So anyway, I could go on and on about my life and things that have happened, but there's been various awakenings since then, and so what was happening in what I bring to the world was changing as well. So throughout this period, I was still teaching yoga, but sitting there thinking, really? I don't know what to say. Like, I honestly was sitting in front of people and not knowing what to teach anymore because something had fallen away so fully, and the new thing hadn't come, if you know what I mean. I was kind of just in this no man's land in between, and but I allowed myself to be there and see what would come. And over the years, my work has just disappeared entirely and then come back in a new form, and so these days I do share yoga in a gym of all places, but that's a real blessing, and to bring yoga, real yoga, to people that are very much used to exercise. It's been called yoga or Pilates, so that's beautiful. But what's evolving and what's been evolving for some time is to bring Holy Human, this work, and it's really about what I've experienced and what's been helpful for me. And so that's what I'm going to share with you today, is purely what's worked for me in terms of this process of coming to know who and what we are, and then the integration of that into the body. Very much like anybody who was here with Sophie, it's the same, but we're going to speak slightly different language. Holy Human for me is the inner marriage. It's when love comes into form and there's the integration of that. So there's different levels of awakening that we need to go through for that to happen. So for this one, it was very much an awakening of the heart first, and then the mind, the brilliancy of mind came next, and then it was like a very much a descent of that love into form. There was only one direction, and it was down. And Sophie spoke about this quite a lot, that, you know, as women, that we're so close to the ground, our primary essence is feminine. So this is our primary, closest nature, and it's easiest for us to go into the descent, and harder for us often to be in the nothingness, to be in the emptiness of being. The masculine, if you like. So there's the masculine and the feminine, or Shiva and Shakti, that come together in the marriage of the heart. And this is what we're really being called to at this time. And so for me, it was to discover the stillness first, and the awakening of the heart, and then bringing that love into form by learning how to bring the energy, or bring that love down into the body, and be with everything that is hidden there, all the content, if you like, all the unconscious material that we've cut ourselves off from, and we really have cut ourselves off here. So it's there that we do meet a lot of pain. There's a reason why we avoid going down into that, because we've been feeling like we're separate from everything and each other. This is the separation from source, essentially. And so I don't want to talk too much, so I could kind of talk all day, but I really want to dive into something experiential. But what I do want to say is that we're we're really at a pivotal moment right now. We're at the end of the Kali Yuga, which means time. Kali means time, or the age of destruction. And the end of days, literally. And when I say we're right at the end, there's something maybe between 60 and 100 years left of this age, thousands of years. And the next age that we're moving into is the Sat Yuga. And the Sat Yuga is the age of love and truth. And we are literally going to wake up quite quickly out of this destruction that we find ourselves in. So it's really like you might have noticed that the boat is already rocking. It's already everything. There's an awakening to truth, not necessarily to the truth of what we are, but it's already happening that beings are awakening to the environmental crisis, the financial crisis, the social crisis, and wars and famines, and more of that, and natural disasters. All of these things are happening because the truth must come to light. It's all surfacing. It's all a part of consciousness, and it's all okay. But we must root as the truth of what we are within this apparent chaos that we find ourselves in. Because as that boat's rocking, we're a part of everything, right? And if we think that we are not this truth that is beyond any of these worries and tensions and things that we see in the world, then everything is fine from that perspective. But if we're identified with all the things that are happening in the world and we're constantly placing our attention there, then we're not going to be resting in this true stability and the true security of what we are, because that security is not found outside of ourselves. And we've thought it has been, that somehow the house is going to make me okay, that the relationship's going to make it all okay. And you might have noticed that we're still suffering. Every single thing that you're longing for in your life is a seeking of love. Actually, you're looking for love in everything, in every pursuit, in every relationship, in everything that you're doing, including eating the food that you're eating, absolutely everything. And so how can we turn our attention back to ourselves and realize why we're here? And we're here to know ourselves as love and to embody that love. What else do I want to share with you? Like I say, I could go on and speak. But it really is, there's a few things that are needed, that just the reality that you're sitting in the room with me probably shows me that there's a readiness and a ripeness to arrive at this place. You can't make someone wake up. It comes it's like when the fruit is ready to fall from the tree. There's a readiness. Your heart pulls you somewhere. You can't explain that. That intuitive heart, which is the feminine, says, I need to go that direction. I need to go into that tent. And I don't really know why, but I'm going there anyway. And your feet are walking you there. And then you find yourself in a place where you're receiving exactly what you need to receive. And it's always the case, of course. But to come to that place of really waking up to truly what you are, and then the commitment that comes within that to live it, to really live the truth of yourself, your true self, is really the path home. And we look for it everywhere else until finally something says, okay, here, right here. It's right here and nowhere else. So I think I'm going to just stop there. I could carry on. But what I'd like to do is bring us into a meditation, and from the meditation we're going to open into movement and a little bit of an experiential. So
do you still want it recorded, Emma?
The meditation would be great, yeah, thank you. I do want to just share a couple more things, just to say that there's nothing that we need to worry about, in that where we stand at this precipice, the age of Kali, the end of days. Sounds really like some doomsday novel, but actually it's wondrous. Like we're in a spiritual emergency, if you like. There's a need to wake up So this pushing us to come to the truth of what we are, because we can feel that urgency somewhere. We can feel like I need to act now. I need to really be true, and but yeah, it's an emergence and a cleansing of consciousness. Actually, there's a purification that's happening. So you might have noticed that the influx of all this energy, all the solar flares, everything that's happening in the world is pushing us in ways that's really uncomfortable, just as COVID was very uncomfortable. But if you look at it, we were all sent home. And there's such grace in that. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, what is it to be home again and just be with myself, and maybe not have to work and be taken out of our normal environment, just like you are here. It's an opportunity, and there's a lot of grace within that. But there is a commitment that's required of those of us who are ready to really, really come with the sincerity and the willingness and the commitment to ourselves, to truth, to love, and no longer be looking outside of ourselves for that. Yeah. So how about we sit together and dive into the truth of what we are, to that love, to that warm embrace, the stillness, the silence, the truth. I invite you to become comfortable. If you have a little bit of support underneath your buttocks, that's a great thing. See if you can keep your spine straight. It's really not a great idea to lie down to meditate, and there's a good reason why. There's a reason for everything. But when you sit straight, then the energy that flows in the spine in Sushumna Nadi is the energy can flow freely. When you lie down, you have a tendency to sleep. If you need support, by all means find a pole or something. And if you're sitting on a cushion, perhaps sit on the edge of it. It tilts your pelvis forward and allows the spine to be straight. So closing your eyes, settle the body. And become aware of yourself here in this space. You can let your hands rest in your lap or on your knees. Feel the base of the body in firm contact with the ground. And feel the shape and form of the body from the crown of the head down to the tips of the fingers and the tips of the toes. Softening the head, become aware of the whole head, and allowing consciousness to pour down through the crown of the head into the head space. And experiencing inside of the head as a sense of spaciousness, openness, a sense of space rather than the content, softening the muscles in the face, the forehead, the eyes, the nose, the cheeks, the lips, the chin, the ears. Feeling the head like a soft shell, opening. And allowing that awareness that you are to pour down like honey down into the neck, into the throat. Filling the throat with presence. presence to pour down into the space of the heart, this wide open, radiant space. Allowing the light of love to fill the heart space. The sense that the heart space is opening. And a deepening relaxation in the body. Allowing everything to drop, a sense of descending consciousness down into the body, into the arms and fingers, down into the belly, into the bowl of the womb space, filling that space with presence. Presencing the womb, the yoni, the hips and your buttocks. Into the legs and the feet. Beginning to experience the whole body as sensation, this energy field. And at the same time aware of the stillness, the silence of being. Background. Discovering this deep quietude. Letting go of thoughts in the mind, not grasping, nor rejecting, not following thoughts or emotions, and allowing everything that is presenting itself to be here. Whatever is here is welcome. Coming to rest in your being. See if you can relax a little bit more. Give yourself a little more to the silence, to this moment. Not the past, not the future, but here, now. Resting in stillness. Notice if you're in the body. Let your attention rest down in the belly. And you may become aware of a sense of spaciousness, of deep rest. See how far and wide that space extends. Notice where you end and something else begins. To meditate is to be conscious of consciousness. So rest your awareness on awareness itself, that sense of space, stillness, silence. Nothing to do, no technique, nothing but your beloved self and your attention here and now. There is nothing to fix or change, nowhere that you need to go, nothing that you need to do. Be here without agenda, without intention, without seeking, not even wanting to meditate. Notice that one who was trying to meditate. And see if in some way you can drop the one meditating and rather just rest. Rest as you are, with your attention on silence, resting in being, just here, just this. And whatever is arising in the energy field is deeply welcome. No pushing it away, no rejection, a full embrace, full embrace of all that you are. If thoughts arise, let them come. Without grasping, let them move like clouds across the sky. Welcoming everything into your house. As you rest in effortless being. bringing the quality of love to this beloved, sweet animal body. Without this body, you could not know yourself. Whatever rises is welcome. In the warm embrace of the love that you are. There's no good or bad, no right or wrong. Just here. Resting in being. Notice where the body may be holding contraction, tension. See if you can soften and open around the contraction. Give it space. Dropping deeper into the ocean of you, of consciousness, awareness, being. Filling a sweet animal body with presence from the crown of your head down to the tips of your toes and your fingers. Resting in the ground of being all the way to your base. Not separate from the earth. This body is earth, is her. God as the feminine is found as we integrate and merge our love, divine masculine with divine feminine. Let the body open in receptivity. The female body is a natural receiver. Receiving yourself, receiving the surroundings, listening is happening. You can feel the touch of the body against the ground, the air against your skin. Becoming aware of your breath, the life as it moves in the body. And as you allow the music to touch you, allow music to let the body be moved if it wants to. Gently allowing the body to sway, perhaps, to feel the touch of the vibration. Whatever way you're moved, maybe deepening the breath, stretching the body, however it nourishes you. If you want to come up to standing, begin to stretch the body and walk in the space. Feeling your feet on the ground, kissing the earth. How would love move you? How would the body move when there's nobody moving it? Gently begin to open the body through deep listening. What does she want? Stay present, presencing the whole body. Feeling the ground, feeling the air around you, the other beloveds in the room. yourself to see the other beloveds in the room, allowing yourself to see and be seen. Whatever's happening, staying with presencing the body, welcoming it all, whatever is here. If you feel a little bit stuck, just come up to standing and begin to open yourself to walk around the room, take in the space, take in all of these beautiful beloved women in this space. Allowing the music to touch you. Full freedom to be as you are. Feel your feet on the ground, kissing the earth. Let yourself see another and be seen. There's no form. Allow the body to move however she wants to. Maybe moving out of your particular place. Take a little walk around the space. And see who's here with you. All these beloved expressions of the one being. separate.
Cause it